sow oats today. And we want to put them at 3 bushel to the acre. And a bushel of oats is, we'll go find out.
You might have to do the math for him stuff. He's not real good at it.
32 pounds. We're going to set the drill so we put the right amount on. We want to be on the high side. We're going to switch our gears. Sometimes it's easier than others. High range and low range. We're going to set the drill so we put the right amount on. We're going to sow oats today. These are cleaned oats, 1 year out of certification. I bought them off a neighbor down in Penn Street. Paul Hedwig Jr.
Man,
See, they're pain. I would have figured he was old school guy, knew what a miller's knot was. Hey, maybe not. This is the acre meter, and it tells you how much you plant.
Oh, I see.
This drill we rent by the acre. A lot of people say these drills are just a controlled spill, and right now we're just checking out to see if all of our seed tubes are working and putting seed on the ground where we want. You can calibrate the drill. We usually don't. We just use this to check, and the calibration is usually pretty accurate. This drill puts on a little bit heavy sometimes, but not too bad. I think this is the drill that Terry wrecked too. These oats we plan to harvest for grain, and then we'll save the straw for the cows.
Okay.
Some of it depends on how well they grow. Because we had such a deficit of hay, or we're out of hay, we're going to try and make as much hay as we can. And the field here to our left, that one we're going to maybe mow it for hay.
Okay.
And we'll mow it and bale it and wrap it. We're right on top. There's an oat.
Okay.
There's an oat. You always got to dig. Make sure your seed's coming out of your planter. I had a friend of mine planting, I think, 10 acres of corn. Didn't put a kernel on the ground. He had a monitor, and he thought whenever the rows screwed up, it would flash. But it's actually, whenever the kernel of corn goes past the eye, that flashes, so you know it's going past. And yeah, it's a big screw up. See that wheel in the front?
Yep.
That's what runs the drill. You just drag the drill along, but whenever that wheel hits, those spikes grab the soil, and that's the mechanism that turns the drill to meter the seed to come out, or to give it power to come out.
Okay.
And you put those on the hydraulic cylinder, and that's how you control the depth. When you put these spacers in, it lifts the drill up because the cylinder can't go down as far. There's some buckwheat. About 3/4 of an inch. It was the smallest spacers, but she sunk quick. There it is, right
Oh,
there.
yeah.
See the kernel?
Mm-hmm.
That's what we want. It's down maybe a little bit farther than we ought to have it. But here, look at the life in the soil. There's an ant.
Oh, yeah.
Here's a grub. This is no-tilled stuff. We've been doing this since, I don't know, 2007, I think.
Yeah.
The soil structure does seem to be pretty crummy, or crumbly. That's what they want. Depending on your field conditions, you see we have a plow step there?
Yeah.
Some of those coulters aren't touching.
Mm-hmm.
And we're gonna have to smooth that up one of these years, but you gotta do it with a skid loader or tillage. We try not to till more than we have to. Not too far away from here, we have some on the farm. It's kind of like Firestone, but the Firestone is super rocky ground.
Okay.
It grows wonderful corn, especially if you have a dry year. It seems to hold the moisture really well.
Mm-hmm.
And in that, you want to go slow so you can get the kernel down behind the rocks. But in this field, the soil is pretty good shape. It's a little wet, and we're planting oats, so it's not as big a deal. They always say you can mud oats in. The old timers always said that if you plant in the dust, your bins will bust. And that's pretty much true. You don't want to plant corn when it's super wet. But with oats, if you mud it in a little, it won't hurt. And you want to plant oats early because it likes cold weather. My friend in South Dakota, they plant a fair amount of oats. They always do really well with it, but they have colder areas than we do. You can plant it in the fall as well for cattle feed, for grazing, or for making hay. But if you let it out, it'll winter kill and it won't be there in the spring. But there's some people that use it for gardens and things like that. They'll plant their oats and get a good lush crop of oat grass on top of the soil, and then it winter kills and they can till that into the soil in the spring, or you can use that for a thatch layer for mulch. Pull it back and plant your stuff in.